I've had a few questions from people who would like some information about entering the estate agency industry. First thing is, it is not as glamorous as it appears. I know that some agents live or appear to live the Instagram lifestyle, and they make themselves seen in the back of Rolls Royces and etc. etc. But really, successful estate agents work relentlessly. There are some fantastic, very, very hard-working individuals throughout the country who work very hard for themselves, for their brand, and for their clients. Unfortunately, the way things are in the UK, the vast majority of the market is taken up with a few national chains who, for want of a better word, literally stack their clients high and leave them dry. I can't name them, of course, but if you were to join one of these agencies as an apprentice, trainee, for example, you would find that they would just present you with a contact list that's years old, and they would have you literally scraping the barrel, phoning every single person that has contacted them in over a decade, who's probably been phoned by every single trainee who's preceded you, to ask them if they're still interested in buying, if they're still interested in selling, if they need a mortgage. Basically, is there any way that this company can make money from these people? That's what they do. That's what your job would involve for ages. They have no interest in encouraging you as a brand, far from it. They do not want you to be a brand. They want their brand to take the credit for any achievements, any sales they make, and they would like you to just be a faceless, dispensable individual. Hence the reason that with the national chains, most sellers find that they deal with so many different people from start to finish. So at the end of the process, they don't know who to credit for their sale. They don't know who to leave a review for. So more than likely, it will be just the agents who would get the review or the credit for the hard work that the people behind the scenes have done. That's not to say that that's not an entry point to get into the industry, but if you are thinking to do it, then you need to think about yourself, you need to think about your own brand, and there's certain things that I would recommend you do before you even start. The first one would be to complete the Estate Agent Diploma Level 3. It's available online. It's often offered at a discount. If you're thinking to take that course, let me know, and I'll keep my eyes open, and I'll inform you who has it on offer. It's not a great deal of money. Surprisingly enough, in an industry that deals with the average person's most valuable asset, there isn't a qualification required in this country. Just think about that for a moment. The average self-employed person goes to an accountant at the end of the year, and unless you're earning astronomical amounts, for the rest of us, it's in the order of things a small sum and a saving of a few hundred, maybe just a few thousand at most, on the sum that we have to pay at the end of the year. And we go to a chartered accountant, we go to a certified accountant, and yet we place our most valuable asset, a property that could be hundreds of thousands, in millions even, in the hands of somebody who's totally unqualified. That is not right. There is pressure to bring in a minimum qualification, a professional qualification for estate agents. That would, by bringing in a professional qualification, that would also apply under the status of a professional, of the professional rules, which would include a CRB check, criminal record, any criminal offences would need to be expired, etc., etc., which we don't have at the moment. So I would take the course first. I would also go to the Property Ombudsman and download their code of practice, and I would read it again, and then read it again. You would be amazed how many estate agents have not done that, and they don't even know the legal guidelines for their own industry. So this would be for your own benefit, so that you are fully complicit with the law, you understand the law, and once you're finished with the Property Ombudsman Code of Practice, Then you need to look up the anti-money laundering laws, which are straightforward, but the penalties are punitive if you fall foul of them. And also look up GDPR, because as time goes by and you build up your network and connections and inquiries, you will be holding information, and you need to know exactly what you can and cannot do with that information. Even sending somebody a letter addressed to them with their name, if that name has not come from a legal if that name has not come to you in the correct manner and you fall foul of the GDPR laws, you could be in trouble. So it is important that you know this. So having said that, there are a few jobs with agents in the traditional manner even now, although over the last 2-3 years many estate agents have moved over to the self-employed model. Some are better than others. There are some very, very good self-employed models out there that will give you training, that will give you support, that will encourage you, motivate you, and give you all the tools that you need. But ultimately, if you do not manage to take on a listing by yourself and to sell that listing, you will earn nothing. So no matter what anybody says, when you start from scratch, you will not see any money for months and months and months, unless you're very, very lucky. There are others who are not so moral, and they literally promise you unrealistic sums, unrealistic expectations, knowing full well that you will not achieve those expectations, and you'll probably give up. But all they have achieved in the meantime is to cost you months of your life, plus all of the expense that it's cost you and loss of earnings. But when you leave, all of your marketing, all of your efforts, any leads that you may have generated are left with the company. So you are little more than a free marketing tool. So you need to be wary of that. Also, I would urge you to consider the manner in which you are going to be an estate agent. And my philosophy is that you should be fundamentally different to mainstream agents, especially the corporate agents. Learn how to complete market reports in your area, how to decipher what the market is doing. Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? What percentage of property on the market is available? What percentage is sold subject to contract? How has that changed from last month, and how did that change from the month before, so that you can give people an indication of where the market is going. If you would like to know how to do all of this, of course, please feel free to get in touch, and I'm happy to give you some pointers. So what I'm saying is that whichever route you take, even if you do join a corporate agent where you will just be a faceless marketing tool, that does not mean that in the meantime that you cannot be building up your knowledge, your personal brand, which they don't like, and you may find that you will have conflict with a corporate agent if you begin to get yourself too much exposure. But at that point, if you have enough exposure that it has been brought to their attention, then perhaps it will be time for you to have moved on by then. Try to learn everything about not just your postcode district, but the individual postcodes within those districts. So for example, here in Northampton, the district is NN, and we have postcode areas within that district of NN1 to 18 and NN29. Learn everything about those postcode districts within a radius of where you are. Compile market updates for that area each month. Get to know everything about every single type of property in your area, when it went for sale, how much the asking price was, if they dropped it, when they reduced it. Become your local area property guru. And rather than the corporates, which is take, and then take more, I would urge you to give, and give again, because good karma brings good karma. Over time, if you're younger than I am, and you have your whole life ahead of you, your whole career, then imagine if you become known as your local property guru over time. 5 years from now, you will be the go-to agent when people want to sell, because you have been the go-to person for advice which you have offered professionally and unconditionally to anyone who asks. That is the way that you build up a professional brand, a professional reputation, and that brand and that reputation is you. It belongs to you, and nobody can take that away from you. So think about not just how you are going to enter the industry, but what type of professional you will be within the industry. Because when people are dealing with their most valuable asset, as time goes by, when they know that there is somebody who is professional, who is always on hand to give them unconditional advice, then you will be always in the top 2 or 3 when they're thinking about selling. And in the years to come, the clients will just come and find you because you have done your groundwork, because you have acted professionally. Whereas with the corporates, they may get a sale for some people, but that's not to say that those people will go back, and they certainly won't remember anybody who works within that office, because it is designed to be literally just a faceless corporation. I hope that it does help. If there's anything specific that you'd like me to go into, please let me know, and I can do it in a further video. I can give you more suggestions, more advice, more pointers, or for anything else. As always, my email's below. Contact me anytime, and I will see you in the next video.